aside, he admits to using his race as an element of his campaign, and that voters will elect him for it.
This is literally, okay. Candace Owens, Jason Whitlock, Tatum, ABL, Hodge twins. They all do that. Are you kidding me? This is literally all they do is go, I'm the black conservative. They always use it. They always weaponize their race. What the fuck? What is this dude talking about? So I saw this video making rounds in some conservative circles, and at first I'm like, okay, let's see what this is, because they're saying, oh, we found another a Democrat plant. Oh, we found another rhino. Oh, okay, we got another one. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is. I look first at the heavily edited version that people like Tatum are posting, and I'm like, seems like there's a little more context to this. Find the whole version, which again is still heavily edited, changes the context entirely, and then I take into account it's Project Veritas, which is insanely shady. Because I'm just saying, does anyone notice Veritas keeps having these like insanely crazy stories coming out that then go nowhere and they just disappear like the next day? You ever notice that like you have a lot of big mainstream outlets will not touch Project Veritas? They used to, like, 10 years ago they used to, but I noticed like now they're coming out with even bigger stories, and a lot of the mainstream right doesn't seem to touch them. And I was like, that seems a bit weird, because these are some pretty damning stories. But then you look into James O'Keefe and Project Veritas and what they do and their shady history, and that James O'Keefe is a fucking snake, and that he's nothing more than just another fucking rich white neocon. But all these people like to go, oh, he's an objective journalist. He exposes the people in power on both sides. And you're like, no, he never tries to bring up his political bias when he goes on shows, but he's a tradcon, right? Like, he's hardcore tradcon. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that, but then he also tends to, that tends to put him in line with a lot of like neocons and establishment Republicans. And he tends to go after people he deems as a threat to that. So of course, Republicans that aren't going to toe a certain party line or go along to get along, he will go after them. He is not an objective journalist. He is a sensationalist. He's a sensationalist. He doesn't like releasing full video. He likes to release things out of context, because some of the stuff gets out where the full video comes out and it changes the context entirely. This is what I mean. James O'Keefe's a fucking snake, and Project Veritas you have to be very careful with. But look, I get it. The reason people trust him is because I understand not everybody is like me or other people who can consume news and information 24/7, who have like an addiction to it. Some people, you got jobs where you can't have your phone with you all day. And you just got to come home and you just want to run down on what was happening. So you pick some people who can sum up news to you, who you trust, and then, but the problem with this is you start to inherit their biases because you're getting what's going on through their bias. So a lot of times, once you start to trust people, when they tell you to feel a certain way about a certain story, people will start to take on those feelings, not fully understanding why they have those feelings. And what I mean by this is Alex Stovall here is going to say a ton of stuff that conservatives agree with. But James O'Keefe says, this is bad and he's a fake Republican. So the right goes, oh yeah, he's bad. He's a total fake. Everything he said was trash. Even though you're going to see, he says a ton of things the right agrees with. He literally says in the video that he's actually more conservative than he's letting on in public. But James O'Keefe frames him, again, because he sees anyone who's a threat to basically establishment conservatism as a threat that needs to go away, that needs to get exposed. Why he's going after Stovall, I have a guess. I have a guess, and we're going to get into that in a minute when I show you the video. So let's look at the video, and I'll tell you what I mean.
The Republican Party is disgusting to me. The stuff that they're doing, it should be criminal, and they should all be thrown in prison.
The right agrees with that statement. Isn't it the right talking about all the time how much they hate the conservative establishment, how Republicans in Congress and the Senate don't do anything, they just let Dems go crazy, and and they just sit around and half the time they go along with the Democrats and they should, vote out all these fucking rhinos and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so, yeah, I see Republicans hate Republicans, like the politicians. So what did he say that was wrong? I don't know. Yeah, they should. A lot of them should be thrown in prison because a lot of them are insider traders. I mean, of course, but you had people like, you had like Daily Wire telling you to vote for the swamp with the whole like, Kelly Loeffler thing. And I'm just saying, like, I hope you should know that these people who say they're like populist right, Trumpian right, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them are actual just neocons, just masquerading as populists. They complained about the swamp and then told Republicans to vote for the swamp. So, yeah, I agree. A lot of these Republicans should be thrown in prison. And the Republican Party is disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The McCarthys, the Cawthorns, the whole audit bullcrap thing that they're doing. I listen to what my counsel tells me. That's when they say go get an endorsement from somebody, I say, all right, cool. No, I don't have respect for Candace Owens anymore. Will I take her donation and take her donors? Absolutely, but it goes no further than that.
Yeah.
This is what I saw a lot of the right get mad at, and we'll go into this in a second. What's wrong with that? Well, notice he said, I don't have respect for anymore. Meaning he did at one point. Because like I said, only white conservatives think black conservatives like Candace Owens. We despise this bitch. Black conservatives despise Candace Owens. Because she can't go 2 seconds without telling us how much we suck. But I'll go more into that in a second because this is the summary part, and I'll go into the in-depth part in a minute.
I would never invite her to a Christmas party.
Meet Alex Stovall, Arizona Republican candidate for U.S. Congress. An insider within his campaign brought us comments many of his voters and those in the Republican Party will find troubling. From America First messaging to issues of race, big business, tax incentives, and support for completing the border wall, Alex seemed to say
all positions the right agree with.
And mixed messages, saying one thing in private and selling his voters and the media on something entirely different in public.
One, that's politics, but two, let's see what he means by it. Let's see if that's actually accurate or if he's just poisoning the well.
Yes.
Yeah.
The McCarthys, the Cawthorns, the whole audit bullcrap thing that they're doing. It's just another way for them to funnel money for the American people. You know how much money they've raised from this audit? Over $10 million.
And what did y'all get from it? Nothing. It was bullcrap, right? It was a waste of fucking time because the right couldn't just hold their fucking L and realize why Trump lost. The right is so in denial as to why Trump lost. They don't fucking get it. I've talked to these people. I try to explain to them all the mistakes he made leading up to the election and all the free W's that they gave the left. And they went, nope, it's still because of fraud. And like a lot of this stuff was already talked about. Yes, it was enough to overturn the election. No, all the people the right revered and loved all of a sudden turned on him like that when they said, I didn't see enough fraud. Like Bill Barr, they did it to him. All of a sudden he was deep state. Right? Remember when they loved Bill Barr when he was speaking up against rioting and looting? And then as soon as he went, I didn't see enough fraud to change the election. I saw some, not enough to change the election. And they immediately went, Barr is deep state. Yeah, it was bullshit. You all just lost $10 million for nothing. Instead, y'all fell for a lie that some shit was stolen, got demoralized, and now you're all sitting here talking about not voting. And then you're going to lose more. And then you're going to keep saying they lost because you're cheating. And they're sending you down this path you don't want to go down. Look, hold the L. I wanted Trump to win too. Hold the L. Move on. Right? So he's right in this case. What did he say that was wrong?
I try and tell people the audit is paramount, but it's not mission critical. What's mission critical is that we take the House back.
Okay, so what he just did here was not contradictory. So what he just did here was basic politics. So if you have an issue, right? Okay, so this is how politics works. And the right is retarded when it comes to politics and messaging. All right? The left is very good at this. They know how to manipulate their ignorance to their advantage. The right does not. So this is a typical thing in politics. If you get asked a question on a subject that you don't think is important or you think is bullshit, What you would do is politely redirect it to an issue you think is more important, which is what he did. He said, sure, it's paramount, but it's not critical, right? We got to focus on the House. So what he did was just traditional politics. He can't go on stage and say the audit was bullshit, wasted $10 million, stole money from the people, because that's off-putting. Do you understand? You know, some people are saying, like, it's the left that's destroying social awareness, which is causing relationships to go down, friendships to go down. It's big media. I think the internet made everyone socially fucking retarded, in my opinion. It's like, yo, if I'm going to a white area in Beverly Hills for some, like, fucking brunch or some shit, do you think I'm gonna talk how I normally talk? Or is that gonna come off as off-putting to the people there? And so I'm going to dress up my language a little bit, because it's, you know, it's softer to those people, so they're not going to get off-put because I'll be coming on too strong to them, right? This is basic social awareness. He understands basic politics. I can't go all in on this because it will scare the moderates, and I don't want to off-put the moderates. I'll get more ignorant support, but I have to target the moderates because this is Arizona. Okay.
If we get this audit done, but the Democratic Party still owns the House, it was in vain. We've got to take the House back. Once the audit is done and truth will come to light, we can make those corrections and make sure it never happens again.
Nothing he said contradicted that, what he said before. He said it's bullshit. If something comes to light and we address it. But let's focus on the House. Again, traditional politics. So there we go.
So what are your thoughts on the election then? Do you think that Trump won?
No. Do I think there was fraud? Yes.
Okay.
But not enough to overturn the election. But I'm not going to broadcast that everywhere.
Again, smart move. So he's saying, yes, there was fraud, not enough to overturn the election, but I'm not going to make that as a big selling point of my campaign because, again, it will be off-putting to moderates because he's running as a moderate Republican. And he knows there's a lot of moderates in Arizona, so he has to make sure he holds the moderates. If he goes full right-wing ignorant, he knows he can't win like that. So nothing he's saying is contradicting. He's just saying there's certain things I'm not really gonna emphasize. Right? Traditional politics. I'm not gonna emphasize this issue because it might look bad for me with the moderates. I'm just gonna sort of not talk about or tone this issue down while appealing more on certain issues that appeal more to moderates. He's not contradicting himself. This is perfectly reasonable.
I'm a Republican moderate. I vote policy. I'm not part of the country club and the peanut gallery. Have no intent to be.
So again, he's literally saying he wants to vote policy. He doesn't want to be part of the club of the neocon establishment. You know, like I said, he's saying he doesn't want to be a neocon. Why is this bad? He just wants to vote on policy. That's what politics should be. So what is the problem here? What is wrong with this? This is literally what all the little dumb people, the little dumb pundits on the right always talk about, but never really bring into practice, right? This is what your Tim Pools fucking talk about. So this guy comes in saying, I'm voting on policy. I don't want to be a neocon, but because James O'Keefe is saying, this is bad and somehow contradictory, even though it wasn't, and the right trusts James O'Keefe, they just go along and go, oh yeah, he's bad. Man, he's secretly a Democrat. Oh my God. Conservatives, I like you, but please stop. Stop. Don't go this route. This is why the left beats you at everything.
We need guys that are going to, or girls, to implement policies and bills that are going to make America stronger. Continue what Trump started.
Let's go back and read that one more time. Hold up. We're going to go back for a second. And I want you to tell me. Listen to this. Now you tell me this.
I'm a Republican moderate. I vote policy. I'm not part of the country club and the peanut gallery. Have no intent to be.
We need guys that are going to, or girls, to implement policies and bills that are going to make America stronger. Continue what Trump started.
What was a contradictory statement there? He literally just said the same exact thing. He went, I'm Republican, I vote policy. Then he goes on TV, I vote policy. I don't even know. I don't even know with y'all. Come on. This is the worst hit piece ever. This is supposed to be exposing somebody. I was like, sounds like he's completely consistent with what he's saying. And he's not lying to people. The hell? Alright.
More than likely he'll endorse me, but I'm not going to publicly advertise it. People didn't like it. Not in Arizona.
In private,
Okay, that's a perfectly reasonable statement, because he says, Trump isn't liked in Arizona, so if Trump endorsed me, you know, thanks Trump, but I'm not going to advertise on it. You know what I mean? Because, again, politically, that would be very stupid, because if in Arizona Trump is not liked, I'm not going to run on Trump gave me his endorsement. Do you understand? This is why I said, why is everyone suffering from, like, this is basic politics? And I think maybe the internet caused everyone to figure out some kind of social retardation. It's just like the left, who can't talk about any subject in the world without routing it back to politics because they're socially retarded. This is the same thing, but on the right.
Alex has no problem not only lambasting the party and the views he claims to associate with.
When did he lambast the views? Wait, what? Where did he say anywhere? Someone point out to me so far. Where did he say Republican views are stupid? This is why I said James O'Keefe is a fucking snake, right? He just likes taking down people who don't go along with, like, fucking neocon establishment bullshit. And as far as lambasting the party, so do Republicans. The Republicans hate the Republican Party. So far, what is the problem here? All I'm getting, again, is that the right trusts James O'Keefe, and he says, this guy bad, so the right's like, yep, this guy bad, What is wrong with y'all critical thinking skills? Come on, guys, for real, shit.
But better yet, he still takes their money.
Now, what I say
Yeah! Watch.
in my own campaign is different. Granted, I don't want to seem arrogant. That's why I listen to what my counsel tells me.
Again, basic politics, right? But yes, say I was running. I wouldn't make a good politician because I got a big mouth and I don't know when to shut up, but say I was in politics and say, like, you know, I had some right-wing, super racist ignat that didn't like black people, but he saw the R next to my name and he hated the D and went, I'm gonna give this guy money because I hate the Democrats. I'd be like, okay. I'd be like, sure, thanks, Ed. I don't care. So yeah, I'll take their money, no problem. That's politics, bro.
Tells me. That's when they say go get an endorsement from somebody, I say, all right, cool. No, I don't have respect for Candace Owens anymore. Will I take her donation and take her donors? Absolutely, but it goes no further than that.
Yeah.
I would never invite her to a Christmas party.
Okay, now this is where I wanted to go into this. Here's my suspicion. One, he said, I don't have respect for Candace Owens anymore. Meaning he did at one point, okay? And then obviously he probably wasn't too aware of her, and then when he went to go meet her to get an endorsement, because that's what you do in politics, you go get endorsements from people who are popular, and that you hope are popular in your area. Like I said, he said Trump's not popular in Arizona, so I'm not going to get an endorsement for him. Seems like he wasn't super aware of Candace Owens, and then met her and saw how much she hates black people. But here's my suspicion. I think the reason he's getting slandered like this, I think somewhere along the line he slighted Candace Owens, because we know this is what she does when you do something to her she doesn't like, right? Because Candace is a lefty, and she always uses lefty tactics. Remember when she used to be a hardcore doxer on the left, and then became a hardcore doxer on the right, and then just still resorts to people she doesn't like, either slandering their character, trying to quote unquote expose them or anything. I'm just saying this is a pattern of behavior for her, because I'm going, why are they going after Alex Stovall for what? Why would Republicans want to go after him? Because this seems like something Veritas really wouldn't care about, and that's why I'm just getting a little suspicious, because this seems to fit Candace's pattern of behavior. We already saw what she did with Kim Klacik, and we already know she's smearing the crap out of her, because if you've ever looked into it, I'm still waiting for her to say the thing she said about Kim Klacik on her show owned by Daily Wire, who is run by a Harvard-educated lawyer. Just saying it's kind of suspicious she won't bring it up there. Look, I'm just suspicious, but yeah, if I was in his place, And the ignorants who follow Candace, their little racist ignorants, wanted to give me money? Okay, sure, I'll take your money and use it on my campaign. Why not? You think the Democrats like the populist socialists? You think the Democrats like the insane far lefties? Hell no. What? But they give them money and they help them reach their end goal, so they're like, okay, fuck. Yeah, that's politics, bro. So he knows how to fundraise. And yeah, I wouldn't invite Candace to a Christmas party either, because, not that she'd show up anyway, because there'd be too many black people at mine.
But why hide his true feelings about the Republican Party? Well, it appears to be a balancing act strategy to maintain favor with mainstream Republicans while also appealing to more moderate voters.
That's what you're supposed to do, because the independents and the moderates are what win elections, bro. Why is he showing this as bad? I don't understand what the fuck he's doing, except somebody, I'm telling you, I'm just guessing he slighted Candace and she behind the scenes, and this is why he's doing it. I don't know why else you're going after to attack this guy. Because do you realize how toxic this is to the right? You realize this is toxic. This is how you guys just want to become the left. You're saying, screw the moderates, triple down, move more to the right. You're not going to win elections like that, right? Do you understand this, right? You do understand this. There are not enough Republicans alone in Arizona to win the election. So you have to appeal to moderates. Think, you guys. Come on.
You don't win Arizona by being super right Republican.
Yeah.
You ever played spades or
Yeah.
goldfish?
Uh-huh.
You never show all your cards, right? That's why I'm going to win and other people probably won't. Yes, I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to beat on my big old monkey chest running around telling a whole bunch of people I am. First off, it's going to piss people off. It's going to turn people off, and no one's going to want to give you money.
Exactly, politics. Okay, look, this is what I mean, right? So what he's saying here is he's actually more conservative than he's letting on. So again, why are you attacking him? He's not, they're going, he's secretly a Democrat. He's literally saying here he's more conservative than he lets on because he can't piss off the moderates. This is why I said the right is retarded when it comes to politics. This is why they wrecked the Newsom recall. They destroyed it, and I was so pissed off. Because we were finally, the shit libs were sick of Newsom, and they wanted him out. I was helping with getting rid of Newsom. I was getting signatures for that. And guess what? Who is coming up? Jenner. I don't care what you think of Jenner, okay? Like, would I vote for him? No, probably not. But I'd vote to get Newsom out and then just leave it alone. And go, all right, we'll get Jenner, whatever. It is what it is. But then, what did the dumbass right had to do? Run Larry Elder. And I was like, that's it, we got Newsom. I'm like, good fucking... Because the right is so retarded that they thought in the second farthest left state in the country, in an area filled with black people, they were going to run someone who's a bit to the right of a conservative, who says nothing but anti-black talking points all the time. And I'm like, okay, so the Republicans, okay, so let me get this straight. You guys are so fucking stupid. You can acknowledge that the reason we had to leave Afghanistan and it was pointless to westernize them is because it would have taken, 100, 200 years to get them to where we are. And you're culture shocking them. Why couldn't you apply that same logic? No, think. Apply that same logic to California. If you go to the second farthest left state in the country that's over here, and you run somebody who's over here, do you not think it's going to culture shock and scare the shit libs back to Newsom? You should have just let Jenner happen. You don't have to vote for Jenner. You don't have to do any of that. Just vote Newsom out, leave it alone. Then, once Jenner's done, run someone slightly more to the right. Then run someone slightly more to the right. You can't just do this far left state and then move over to the right. Like, you can't make that jump. It culturally scares people. You understand this, right? Not even to mention all of his anti-black sentiments in the middle of one of the, blackest areas in LA he's going around to. Which makes no fucking sense. But because when it comes to race, Republicans are fucking retarded and they refuse to address any racial issue, which is why we'll never win the black vote. Right? If I ran in New York, I'm not going to run up, screaming, I want to yeet taxes, I'm pro-life, I want to remove all gun laws. I'm not going to do that in New York because that would scare the shit out of them. So it sounds like this guy, smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to play the game. He's got a council helping him. It sounds like he got a really smart council helping him, and he knows how to play the game. It sounds like he wants to sneak in here and just vote on policy. This is what I've been telling libertarians to do. I'm like, I want a libertarian insurgency into the Republican Party. Because frankly, even the populist Republicans are still bootlick like crazy, so I'm not a fan of them. But everything he said here was basic politics. And you right-wing ignorants keep ruining the right. You're just ruining it for everybody. You are literally pushing voters into the hands of the left. And then you sit there and yell, they must have cheated to win. Do you ever think that you're fucking retarded and you have no clue what you're doing? And that maybe you should take a step back and think strategy? Because this is pissing me off. Because I was like, there's no reason so far I've seen to go after this guy.
There are a lot of independents here. Independents are what determine the vote.
Exactly what I just said. Thank you.
They want to vote for me just so they can say that they elected the youngest black Republican in American history.
Like, it doesn't matter what your policies are, they just care about that?
Yep. That's everybody. Do you really think people care about policies?
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people vote on emotion. Like I said, I remember the right going, but Larry Elder has better policies in California than Newsom. Yeah, but people are voting on emotion, and they already know Larry Elder is culturally very far away from where mainstream California is, so it doesn't matter that he didn't want vax mandates. It didn't matter that he wanted less restrictions. None of that mattered. Even if the shitlibs agreed, that didn't matter to them. This is already leaving out the anti-black stuff. This is just purely on policy alone. I guarantee you, they couldn't name any of his policies, the shitlibs. But I guarantee you, they also can't name any of Newsom's policies. And I know that because clowns go around talking about how great Newsom is for the environment and how great California is to the environment, while Newsom is trying to close down our nuclear power plant while signing 5 fracking contracts right now. He's trying to destroy, not to mention, and I know this was a bit before Newsom, shutting down all the recycling plants, and most of them are gone, making, glass bottles. It's a penny a pound for glass because the state didn't want to pay out for the glass and recycling. And the reason I know this is because how do you think I got through the 2008 fucking crisis? And I'm like, do you think any of the shitlibs know this? No, they don't. So he's right. What did he say that was wrong? And as far as the black thing, I'll get to that in a second.
Oh yeah, you're getting a real news flash about how politics work.
Alex is...
Okay, so to address that, yes. Yes, they will vote for him so they can use that as a virtue signal. I voted for the youngest black Republican ever. Take that, libs. It's the same as, I'm like, how is America racist? We've had a black president. Take that, libs. Yeah, the right will do that. They will absolutely do this too. The problem with the right is they want specific types of black people on the right, okay? And I know this from personal experience. Not to mention watching what happens to black conservatives that do not toe the certain party line that was set up by white Republicans. If you want to come in, right, and you want to be a black conservative, you have to toe a certain party line in order to gain prominence. Otherwise, they will yeet you. You can't talk about racial issues on the right unless it's through the lens of the white victimhood complex, which the right is starting to go down that path, which I'm like, okay, if you go down the white victimhood complex path, you will end up exactly like the left, just from the other side. Please do not go down that route. Daily Wire just gone all in on that route, except Ben. But besides him, everybody else in there has gone down that route. But if you're black on the right, you cannot talk about systemic racism. You cannot talk about historical racism. You can't talk about certain topics. Like, you're not allowed to say anything that's not pro-police. You're not allowed to bring up reparations. You are not allowed to say any of these things. They will yeet you in 2 seconds because they want a certain type of black person who makes white Republicans feel good. I've gone into this in another video talking about the institutional racism of the media, left and right media, and how they weaponize black people against other black people.
Ever-changing, flip-flopping, shape-shifting views.
When did he do that? Can someone in the comments please tell me where he shape-shifted or flip-flopped? If you're going... Because he didn't flip on any issue. As far as I've seen here, I haven't seen him flip on a single fucking issue. And as far as shape-shifting, are you going to say his demeanor in private is different from public? That's literally everybody. And especially in politics when you're in the public eye. Right? If I went into politics and I was in an all-white neighborhood, do you think I'm going to talk how I normally talk? Or do you think I'm going to put on the white voice a bit? Right? Because every black person has the white voice and the black voice. Everybody does. All of us do. Do you think if I meet a new person, I'm not going to go all out on my type of offensive humor right away? Or do you think I'm going to feel out the person first before I even start to go that way? And try to see what jokes or what kind of humor they have and where I can and can't go and what will or will not upset them. But then when you're in private with your friends, who you know very well, you can just go ham and just start wilding. Yeah, public image and private image is a thing. And all of these people on YouTube that always go, I'm real. What you see in person is exactly what you see on YouTube is exactly what you see in person. That's not true. Nobody is. I can guarantee you. And some of these big YouTube personalities I've seen in person or met in person, and they're not the same. They're not as bombastic or they're not as aggressive.
Aside, he admits to using his race as an element of his campaign, and that voters will elect him for it.
This is okay. Candace Owens, Jason Whitlock, Tatum, ABL, Hodge twins. They all do that. Are you kidding me? This is literally all they do is go, I'm the black conservative. They always use it. They always weaponize their race. What the fuck? What is this dude talking about? Their selling points are that they're the black conservatives or they're one of the good ones. So why are you coming after him for saying that? For saying they'll vote for me because I'm black. Yes, why do you think Candace Owens is so well loved among white ignorants? Because she is a black person that reinforces their racist beliefs so they don't feel as bad about having those racist beliefs. And she knows this.
Racism is real. What the news is telling you, what Tucker Carlson is telling you, what Candace Owens is telling you, it's a bunch of baloney.
We cannot allow black, Hispanic, or poor white communities to believe this radical agenda, this critical race theory nonsense that they're pushing. I'm not going to tell my children that because they're black, they have less of an opportunity or they're going to be shorthanded.
That wasn't contradictory. That's literally my position. Everyone who watches me knows I'm always like, yo, race is still a big problem in America and we don't address it. At the same time, I have also said on my multiple times on this channel that CRT is fucking retarded. I've already broken down in other videos why I don't like CRT at all, while always maintaining that there's issues with race in this country still and racism is real. And yes, what Candace is telling you and Tucker's telling you about racism just all being a myth or only being towards white people, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. Of course he's not going to say that in public because the right-wing ignorants aren't going to like it. And they're going to re at him and say, well, he's secretly a Democrat, let me tell you what. Because that's what they're like. He literally just showed him being perfectly consistent and went, look how inconsistent he is.
Be less white, vote for the young black candidate.
Now,
I'm assuming that was just out of nowhere. I'm assuming that was a joke because that sounds like a joke.
the stuff that you will soon know could destroy the campaign. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you got skeletons in the closet, they're going to, what's in dark comes to light.
He didn't say anything contradictory. He didn't, though, I didn't see a single contradiction in here. I didn't see a single problem with him. I'm just saying this is a hit piece. And again, I don't know why Veritas specifically want to go after him. And I'm just telling you, I smell something to do with Candace. Just because I know her pattern of behavior. Because otherwise, I see no reason why you'd want to undercover sting this guy. And remember, James O'Keefe heavily edits his videos to paint certain pictures. And if this is the best they had, wow, I would love to see the full thing. The full thing probably makes him look way better. But yeah, this is insane that they thought this was a hit piece on him. But now I'm going to end on his tweet, but I really want to go look and dig up and find a follow-up for this. But he does say he will be giving a statement tomorrow, which would have been January 9th, about the allegations brought up by Project Veritas. I will also do an expose on the people I mentioned in my video, to include Kelly Wardas and real Candace Owens. So, and then he finished off with the quote from Exodus of you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. And this looks like what Project Veritas, this is what they're doing right now. So